Camera's on fire. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Fuck yeah, chickadee. Eat it up. Get a good fill. Okay, back to what I was saying. Today we're looking at the Beeman Commodore 22 caliber. This is a beast, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. First off, I'm going to start off with some things that I've discovered that may push the average person away, and then I'm hopefully going to close up with some of its very redeeming qualities. The first issue I have with this gun is the puff of air, okay? When you shoot, I don't know if it needs a fatter O-ring, a different O-ring, or if it's just a design issue, or if it's something that all bullpups have to deal with. This is the first bullpup I've ever shot. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to shoot this gun. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I actually hit a mouse with it last night at 94 yards. Okay, I did the one-shot zero on the Wraith scope. Sight mark Wraith, and I'll see if we're any closer. Okay, right here I'm filming on the ATN-X sight with the illuminator shining downrange, and I'm actually shooting with the Commodore and the Sight Mark Wraith. But the Sight Mark Wraith, for whatever reason, the camera froze as I was filming, and it did not record the scope cam of the shot. Unfortunately, the scope camera did not record it, and the camera that I was able to record it with also recorded the mouse running away. So I hit him. I absolutely hit him, and I was unable to find him, but there's no way he's going to survive that. There's absolutely no way. I know I hit him solid. So back to the gun in hand here. I was given the opportunity to review this gun and check it out, and I greatly appreciate that. I ain't even going to mention names. You know who you are. A chivalrous dude, absolute gentleman. Thank you very much for the opportunity to take a look at this gun. Now, 3,500 PSI fill on it. Shoots down to about 1,500. You can go a little lower under the green and still get usable shots out of it, but that all depends on the tune. Right now, if this was given to me at factory settings, I've increased the hammer spring 1 full rotation. So I've increased the pressure 1 turn in on the hammer spring. It was getting like 40 plus shots stock, starting out at with the 1813s. I think I was starting out around 640, and then at about the 45th shot or so, I was coming back to about 640. So you could really slam a lot of shots out of it, but it was peaking in the 9s, high 8s, low 9s, if I remember right. So we're getting a lot of shots, but an extreme spread to it. So I increased the hammer spring in 1 full revolution. I actually did more than that. I tuned this for 1813s, and then today I started shooting the Crossman Premier Hollow Point 14.3 grains, and I detuned it, turned it back down because it was just spitting fire over 1,000 feet per second, and they didn't like it. So I turned it back down, got it to where it shot the Crossman Premier Hollow Points decently, speed-wise, and then I tested for accuracy, and that's where we're going to leave this video is on the accuracy portion. We're getting there. I'm gonna make you wait. Okay, another thing that I may not find super duper awesome about this gun is the rails. It has 3 rails on it, one on the top and one on either side, and that's awesome because you can clip all kinds of shit to this. But with the scope rail being so far forward for the eye relief on this gun and on this scope and mostly other scopes likely, you've got to have your face so far forward that your eye is literally right above the mag. So if any debris or anything should go wrong with this thing as it's expelling air, it is going to go directly into your eye. Okay, I haven't had that issue yet, but absolutely it blasts air in your face. So if you could get a different scope rail, which now you're talking about raising it up, and if you could extend the scope back to, let's say, here and put your eye relief back in here somewhere, it may reduce or eliminate the issue I have with the blow by coming through there. So that's, like I said, going to be scope dependent, but I want people to understand that it is definitely an issue that both myself and the gentleman that dropped this off for me noticed right away, is that you do get puffs of air coming out of this. Okay, so now that we've talked about the scope positioning and the puff of air, it's a heavy gun. It is a heavy gun. It is not as light as the Notos, and it's probably about the same weight as the Armada. It's easy to wield around because it's quite a bit more compact, but it is a pretty hefty gun, so expect that. Another thing, she's loud. Coming from the factory like this, it's got a couple of baffle system in the end or whatever. It's loud. The first 10, 15 shots, not so much. Once you start getting into the power, she is probably not backyard friendly for most people. Definitely not backyard mouse friendly once you get into the top end of that curve, because she barks. Okay, so those are the issues that I want to call them issues. Those are the things that I'd like to point out that others can see, because they're not game breakers by any means, not any one by itself. You tie all these together, and for some people it might be, but price point, that's what's going to help keep people here. Okay, the next thing, the trigger. It is long and it is spongy, but it's predictable. It's very predictable. There's a lot of travel in there, but when you get to that point, you're going to notice that travel is starting to stop. It's getting stiffer and stiffer, and you are right before it breaks. You can hold the trigger in that position all day, no issues. And then if something comes through, just give it the lightest squeeze and it goes off. It takes a little bit of getting used to find out exactly where it's going to break and be ready for it. But if you shoot the gun enough, I've probably only got a few hundred shots to it so far, but if you shoot it enough, you can absolutely predict when it's going to snap and hold and then get your squeeze. So I'm not going to completely discount the trigger, but I want you to know it is not a match grade two-stage trigger on there. It's got linkage, it's got to operate the whole 9 yards, but it's not stiff and it's not unbearable. Now, getting to the good stuff. So far, I've told you things that may push the average buyer away, but I absolutely feel like they're things that the average buyer should know before you buy. Okay, my iPhone ran out of storage, so I had to delete a bunch of videos, and I am back. Don't remember where we left off, but let's get into the good stuff. To this point, I've only told you things that may potentially push the average buyer away, but that is absolutely not my intention. I am trying to let the average buyer know things that I have noticed personally, because I feel like if I were to buy a gun and somebody else knew that it had issues or had quirks and I didn't know about it in the beginning, I guess I'd be a little upset. So, not that I want anybody to be upset. This is exactly the kind of review that I think I would like to see. An honest review, good, bad, and ugly. Now, we've gotten the potentially bad and ugly out of the way. That's up to you to decide, but we're definitely getting into the good. What does the Beeman Commodore underlever have going for it? Well, one, the underlever, absolutely underlever. Your hand is right here anyways when you're holding the gun, shooting it offhand, let's say woods walking, hunting, what have you. So easy to grab the lever and cock the gun, and it cocks super smooth, super easy. It's just the location is perfect. Your hand is already here, reloads super quick. Okay, now this is a buck rail attachment, and as you can see, it allows you to, well, it gives you a barrel band that I don't think really does much other than protect the barrel from bending slightly, but it absolutely gives you some mounting points to the point where you can put a bipod on here. And shooting off a bipod, in my opinion, is good enough. I got no problems with it. So now we're talking, you've got the ability to add bipod to it, even though it's an under lever. That may get in the way for some people. I know bench rest shooting, it may be a pain if you're shooting off of a stand, but if you throw a bipod on here, not an issue whatsoever. Hell yeah, brother, hell yeah. Another thing it's got going for it is shot count. It absolutely squeezes 30 to 40 shots. It's up to you. You could probably even squeeze 50 if you didn't mind starting out at about 750 feet per second with the 18-1-3s and coming back to 750 feet per second with the 18-1-3s. You could probably squeeze 50 shots out of there. I think 40 is more than enough, and you could even reduce the curve and drop it down a little bit, maybe even drop your fill pressure and get 30 shots that were probably fucking damn nice. All right. Another thing that it's got going for it, the composite stock. Okay. It's not plasticky by any means. I don't feel like I'm just grabbing a cheap plastic gun. Between the weight of the gun and the composite stock, it actually feels very nice and very beefy. Another thing is it's short. It is a little bit heavier, but it's absolutely more wieldy in the woods than the Benjamin Armada. The Armada is just such a long gun that it's either over the shoulder or you're carrying it awkwardly. But this, not so bad. And now, last but not least, I know what you came here for, the accuracy portion. Now, I started out with the Crosman Premier hollow points because that's what I had this, that's what I was tuning this for today. And I shot the Crosman Premier hollow points and I was less than impressed. Okay, we got the Beeman Commodore shooting the Crosman Premier hollow points, 14.3 grain, 30 yards, shooting for groups. Getting a look at the speeds while we're doing it. Here we go. I haven't dicked with the one shot zero, so I'm just going to pick a spot on the target and just shoot all 40 shots or whatever it was at it. Here we go. First we get air right away. And then I decided, fuck it. With the 30 remaining shots, I'm going to try the JSB 18-1-3s. And this is how it played out. Okay, second mag, Beeman Commodore. I'm going to aim for the same spot to see if the point of aim shifts through the shot curve. Okay, just going to reload and keep going with it so that I don't have to stop the cameras. I will say right now though, I think I only added 2 impacts to that paper. Maybe 3. Most of the rest of them went right through that same hole. Here we go. This would be great to have some scope cam shots, but ooh, that was me. That was me. 100%, that was me. Empty. Okay. Those are the shots. I think that's 30. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but let's go take a look. The pressure is down just below the green. Now I know for a fact that one of the 2 down here I shanked. The second one was right at the end of the shot string, so that could have been pressure, could have been me, could have been the pellet, could have been the gun, could have been anything. But is that 30 shots? I can't remember. 30 friggin' rounds at 30 yards with a Beeman Commodore. And look at that. So I wanted to show that at 30 yards, the pressure change and speed increase of the pellets and then eventual decrease wouldn't affect the point of aim a whole lot. I would say that I have shown that very nicely. That over the course of 30 shots, despite the first 10 that came out, so technically I could have squeezed 10 more into this hole probably, but absolutely over the course of those shots, the point of impact shift was lower than the pellet spread just by using a different ammo. That's 10 rounds starting out. Look at the impacts all over the place. This is 30 rounds. The point of impact shift is minimal at best at 30 yards. I think I'm going to leave this gun tuned exactly where it is. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it right where it's at. Okay, we're going to try to get through this. I'm going to try to do all 40 shots in one video. I'm going to aim dead center on this intersection right here at the bottom of the bullseye. Here we go. I hope it's not broken. It's still recording. It's still recording. Nothing's broken. Let me reset. So far, that was the first 10 shots. Compared to the 10 up in the corner of the CrossFit Premier Hollow Points. Let's get back to it. Sun's coming out, we'll do what we can. Terrible at remembering. I don't know if that's 30 shots or 40 shots. But still, the point of impact shift is minimal. Minimal. Look at the spread on just these pellets in one mag. Look at the point of impact shift out of 4 mags. Absolutely drilling holes, brother. Okay, accuracy, check. Just so we know for reference, my thumb pretty much covers the entire group. Pretty much. Okay, so just a quick look at the Beeman Commodore. Just wanted to get a first look out for people to, give my impressions. I think it's a great gun, I really do. I think it absolutely has its purpose. I think it would make a fantastic little woods walker because you're gonna get a shitload of shots. And if you're inside of 30 yards, you're not gonna notice a point of impact shift between those 30 to 40 shots. You're gonna be dead nuts, dead critter every time, okay? I haven't stretched this out at all, so I can't say one way or the other, but I will say that it'll absolutely accurately shoot mice at 94 yards. So it's capable, absolutely capable. It is a little bit heavier, but another thing it's got going for it is the price point. I think it was 267, 250. Don't quote me, prices change, but I want to say it was right around 250. Okay, that is very affordable for a PCP, unregulated, slapping shots and delivering accuracy, absolutely delivering accuracy. Now in the future, I'm going to do potentially a review on the Sight Mark, and I'm looking at the UUQ. So far I'm liking it. This is the UUQ bipod. Okay, I'm liking them both. I do have a few issues with the Sight Mark, but like I said, I'm still learning, still getting to know it, so I'm not going to speak on that yet. But the Beeman Commodore 22 caliber PCP is a good gun for the price. I absolutely feel like it is a great value, and somebody that wants to tune it and tinker, you absolutely can. It's got the hammer spring adjustment right in the back of the stock here, and I know you probably can't see it because of the sun, but it's right there. It's accessible. You can get to it without taking the gun apart, and it gives you options for slapping lights or whatever else you want on here. Like, this works great this is a great mousing gun, in my opinion. A little loud. It needs a little love, and I do have an aftermarket buck rail suppressor for the end of this that I'm going to throw on here and probably do some testing to see if the point of impact shifts and if the volume comes down at all. But out the gates, for the price, absolute bang for your buck. There are some things some people may not like, or you know, it may not be their favorite parts about the gun, but once you start shooting it, you're going to realize that this gun can deliver, and the quality, it feels like a quality rifle. Hey, it doesn't feel like a cheap piece of plastic. So the Beeman Commodore gets, we'll give it 1 3/4 thumbs up. The only real setback on me is the blow by coming out the mag. Like I said, if you get a bigger or a thicker O-ring, or a new O-ring, or maybe just a design issue, definitely puff of air out the back. That may push some users away, but I think that could be mitigated and reduced by sliding your optic back, and that's something that each scope will be different with. Thanks for watching, everybody. Staying tuned. Long video. I did want to get this out though, because this gun is a lot of fun, and I think that, you know, the average Joe wanting to spend $250 and get your skin in the game, this is a definite, put it on the list. This is a definite possibility, especially with that front underlever, man. The reloading on this is second to none. I mean, a pump action or semi-auto, I think, is the only way you're going to get any faster. It's absolutely faster than the no-toes with the left-handed lever, which I thought would be faster than the bolt, which is, but certainly faster than the bolt, certainly faster than the lever, definitely not faster than a semi-auto, but as close as you're going to get, absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody. Staying tuned. On to the next adventure.